So, let me tell you a story. No, even better, let us pretend that you were me playing this game.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
see, I have a timer which keeps on timing, and
Yeah.
I have to get to the top before they do. Otherwise, I don't know what could happen. It could be a game over. It was not, as it turned out. But it could have been a game over, and I would have to restart from the last save point, which would mean redoing that tutorial boss fight that almost killed me. Because I don't know how to play this game yet. I am learning right now, as you can see.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I am panicked, as you can imagine, because time is running out, and I am trying to figure out where I need to go or how I need to get there.
Yeah,
And I am trying to climb everywhere. I am constantly pushing the circle button, which is the one that allows you to climb over climbable surfaces, but there is not a clear-cut way to determine which surface is climbable or not on a first glance. You just had to go near it and hope it is climbable. But as it turns out, that's not even the problem, because I thought I needed to climb up. As it turned out, I needed to fall down. Where I needed to fall down? I needed to fall down to the side of that platform right there, except there was no way for me to see that there was a point in which I could fall down just on the right of said platform. So I spent almost an hour circling around, running in circles, fighting these same enemies over and over again, not progressing at all, and I am furious beyond the gods themselves.
Oh god.
I am turning into Bahamut and razing this world with fire and brimstone. I'm so angry, you have no idea. You would have to be me to properly appreciate how angry I was at this.
I can understand that because, you know, you're...
Angry and embarrassing because I cannot be sure if it was my fault or the game's obscene level design's fault. So this is happening for a while.
Yeah, I can see that happening for a while. Literally. Shush. See, I heard a lot of people in England compare this particular entry to the franchise to Charlie's Angels meets Final Fantasy, essentially.
That sounds incredible, actually. Unless you're referring to the Charlie's Angels films. In that case, that sounds depressing.
I don't really think so. Wasn't the newer movies, the last modern iteration, like, not made at that time? Or was it just me forgetting when they were made?
Probably earlier. You see there, I'm trying to jump over there, up there, everywhere, but I cannot go anywhere because I am clearly not going in the right direction. Yes. And the right direction is partially hidden from my sight. Joy.
It was an interesting comparison to make, I thought. Basically, Charlie's Angels, because, you know, three ladies who are nice to look at suddenly, you know, becoming badasses and doing their thing.
Well, this might surprise you, but there is a somewhat rich tradition in Japan for live-action shows that take direct inspiration from Charlie's Angels. In fact, I thought there was a show in the early 80s that's specifically inspired from Charlie's Angels, but it's aimed at a more mature audience. And apparently their theme is cats. And it's not the manga from the same author of City Hunter, but it's close in concept. I cannot, for the love of my own beard, remember what the title is. I'm pretty sure Charlie's Angels and a bunch of other unsuspecting classic American TV shows from the 60s and 70s hold a major pop cultural inspiration for Japan.
It's interesting to note.
You might be aware that the classic show Bewitched was the direct inspiration for the entire Mahou Shoujo genre, or magical girl. I am not even joking, that's true.
Yo, gotta get your inspiration from somewhere, huh? Okay, so...
This is incredibly vexing.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm already desperate, I'm trying to jump off of anywhere! Meanwhile, I keep getting jumped by weird guys in tight suits and Gatling machine gun worms.
So here's a good question, right? What would be worse, in your opinion, when it comes to traversing and jumping, you know, from ledges and all that rot? Would you consider this game to be worse than Uncharted? Or the other way around?
Uncharted makes it even too easy to jump from one spot to the other. All you need to do is follow the clearly laid instructions, or hotspots as it were.
Yeah.
And there is never the risk for a leap of faith. So it's an entire game built around the idea of climbing anything, so it has to be good. It has to work, at the very least. Final Fantasy X too, this system has been rashly added to give the players the illusion of being able to reach places they weren't able to reach in the previous Final Fantasy game. So, hey! Player who came back for more of Spira, that really liked the world of Spira for some reason, now you can get to places you couldn't previously get to. Aren't you glad we made this new gameplay feature just for you? Doesn't that make the game so much better?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I hate to say this, but Final Fantasy XIII gets it right by making the jumping and climbing options automatic, so you don't have to randomly press a damn button to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Then again, Final Fantasy XIII makes traversing anything a bit too linear, which is one of its main criticisms.
Yeah.
Along with literally everything else.
Yeah. Literally everything else.
And yet, at this point in time, I was looking at this active battle system, and really, I can see where the system in Final Fantasy XIII is coming from, sadly. You can still control everything you do, but it is so confusing to look at that almost makes me want, for lack of actually playing... That was the whole point of people getting mad at Final Fantasy XIII.
It really puts certain things in perspective for you, huh?
This game laid the foundations, the gameplay foundations for Final Fantasy XIII, for worse and for worst.
I mean, at least in this game, items still have a use compared to 13.
At least in this game you are in full control of the main characters, and it feels overwhelming at first because, again, you have no idea what you're doing or if you're timing everything right, and like I said, it's OCD levels of active in that sense, but at the very least, strategy is still required.
Yeah.
The problem is, you really need to be a fast thinker and a fast button masher, as it were.
Yeah.
Which is something that I needed to practice a lot. It wasn't as intuitive as what was given to me in the previous game. As you can see, I'm running out of options fast, because I don't know where to go, I don't know how to get there, I'm confused, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated, I'm enraged, I'm outraged, I am all of the adjectives appropriate for describing this situation.
Yes, you're a desperate
The only
man of
silver
words.
lining is that I'm learning how to fight, and I'm getting experience points. That's the only positive I can think of. Hoo boy.
Yeah, the words "hoo boy" comes to mind to me as well. I'm trying to remember now any experience I had with the gameplay other than the fact that I was left feeling, a bit meh on the entire experience. Certainly doesn't rank any high on my worst of Final Fantasy lists, that's for sure.
Yes, I think I still liked it more than Final Fantasy VIII, come to think of it. At least I don't have to draw magic from the enemies in order to have magic.
Fantasy VIII's GF system can be exploited to such a degree that basically, just by using the GFs alone, with their stat boosts and other abilities that you can grab from them, you can be super powerful without needing to grind for levels.
All of that sounds great, but then the game screws you with the final boss. Doesn't it?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. When it comes to worst Final Fantasies, nothing's gonna beat Final Fantasy 2, the original release on the NES, for my liking.
Yes, I remember you telling me that you played 10 minutes of it before quitting forever.
Yes, this game is a pile of garbage.
Wow, okay.
because essentially I worked hard grinding, someone to be a certain way. Took me ages to get their points up in that stat, only to be forced to do one action that was different, and then from that one action that was different, it basically lowered the stat I worked hard to work towards, and completely bollocksed up the character, essentially.
And you managed to get all that in 10 minutes?
Yes.
Wow. Yeesh. And to think that Chrono Cross took that system more or less for itself.
I never tried that game, really. I've only watched Ross play it, really, and
well, apparently the gods above did not want us to see that game being played by anyone, because it crashed, if you recall.
Yes, multiple times on Ross.
Yes, poor Ross.
To be honest, I was actually genuinely intrigued to see how it was going to be, because I never had a chance to play that game.
Much like I am somewhat intrigued to see Final Fantasy XII in action at some point in my life. Because then I can claim I played all the modern ones, at least.
Yeah.
Except for 15, which I still refuse to ever try, honestly. For the reasons I've already established, there is nothing less appealing to me than that.
Boys' Journey movies.
Okay, this pisses me off. In the previous game, stats were effective only during a battle. After the battle is over, all of your stats are returned to normal. But not in this one! No, in this one we are back to basics. Stats, status effects, I should specify, they persist beyond combat, which is infuriating.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, because...
Anyway, so I've been fighting for so long that I am essentially over-leveled for the area. Look at this. I am disintegrating them.
Well, let me think now, because we should really get back on topic with Final Fantasy X-2 in general.
What even is the topic at this point? We're just rambling to pass time. Because what else can you do? Look at this disaster! Look at this complete disaster! I am less than 2 minutes away from running out of time, and I'm still here! I am still here! What am I supposed to do? What is everything? Where is anything? What is this? What is this? And another random encounter? Oh my god.
Yeah. Tell me, do you think this game was a bit too cheesecakey for your liking?
I didn't mind it as much, surprisingly.
I mean, it's not too in your face like some games can be.
It was considered very in your face for the time, but we were a lot more naive at the time.
Yeah.
And look at this! I found the way! I found the mother obliterating way! Aren't I glad? My god, this game. Thank you, because not only I've been wandering around aimlessly for almost an hour, but now I casually find a way and it was just there, so I feel dumb too! Thank you, game.
Well, that's this game for you, with its not so obvious camera positioning.
How long have you been waiting for us?
I know, right? He's just there, like going like, I was waiting for you for like 40 minutes.
Oh yes, I'm going to place myself here, so when they come, I shall take them by surprise. Why are they not coming? I've been here for 20 minutes.
I will say one thing about the game's narrative that I actually did like. Basically, it's the concept itself of how all the characters in the world are reacting to the aftermath of sin and the concept of progress.
Barely touched upon, really.
I just wished it had a bit more of a... like...
You would have preferred it was written by the guy responsible for Final Fantasy Tactics.
That's Final Fantasy 12 that we're talking about development-wise.
I know.
Anyway.
Oh look, suddenly this little kitty! Wow.
Yay!
What baffles me is that I get enemies that you only find at the end of Final Fantasy X, right at the beginning of Final Fantasy X too. As if to say, look how strong you are!
I know, right?
And then I get a Tonberry, a freaking Tonberry, in the first 5 hours of this game. And it's ridiculous!
There's a lot of things going on where basically the conflict going around where everyone is arguing about how we should progress or things should stay the same, and there's even people complaining about how the old music kinda sucks.
Yes, well...
like as if they fail to have an appreciation for the old pieces that they once had when Sin was around.
So I'm going to be honest, looking at both the organizations, religious or otherwise, in conflict with each other, I could not help but draw similarities with fascism on one end.
Yes, I know.
And religious cults on the other hand. The, what's it called again? The Youth League, yes.
The Youth League.
Immediately, looking at the name Youth League, all sorts of alarm bells rang in my head, because this is a group of young people who are preaching about the destruction of the old values and the establishment of new values based on strength and determination, and taking the world even by force if needed, in order to restore peace and a future for the nation, and it's basically fascism. That worried me a bit, but it's not like New Yevon is any better. They are the remnants of a religion that was actually proven to be false, so they are basically in the status of Scientology cults, as it were. So, am I really supposed to choose between these two sides? At some point, the game forces you to choose a side because you need to give whatever sphere you just stolen back to one of the two fighting factions. So your choice is either the proto-fascists or the Catholicism WoW faction, I suppose. If it depended on me, I would have just gone with the technologically savvy Albeds,
yes,
which is the third faction that stays neutral, like Switzerland.
Led by Gipple.
That guy.
I swear this game was trying to pair up all the girls with each one of these leaders for some strange reason.
Yes, that was a bit...
That was a bit unnecessary. You know.
Indeed. Speaking of romantic leads or romantic parallels, the less I say about Shu Yin, the better. He makes no sense whatsoever!
Yep, if there's any character that didn't need to exist, Shu Yin is probably that guy.
I get the romantic parallel with the first game and what Yuna is going for, but it is not in the slightest justified by the narrative, and so it's just confusing to even look at. What am I looking at? What is this Tidus doppelganger doing here, and why it is never explained why he looks exactly like Tidus? Of course, you can speculate why he looks like Tidus, but the fact that the game never bothers to properly explain why that's the case leaves an unnecessary gaping hole that really does not need to be there to begin with.
Yeah.
It's almost as if, hey, you want to know why Shu-in is a Shu-in in this game? Well, you have to do your own homework. No, screw you, Square Enix.
Here's your own theories on this. No, you're not giving us enough for it.
I mean, it's probable that Tidus exists because he was a dream concocted by the Faith, which designed him after Shu-in, which at the time that he was alive was supposed to be a star blitzball player. Why did they give Tidus the name Tidus instead of Shu-in? Or is it the fact that he did not have any name? Or his name was not actually pronounced in the first game, an actual plot point? No, it isn't. It's dumb. And I am turning into Spoonie. I don't want to go there. But here I am, complaining.
It just feels very tacked on, like it doesn't need to exist. You know, everything seems to follow that sort of mentality. We could have had more interesting narratives, but instead we had to have all this pointless guff that the writers thought they were being so clever with their theming at the time.
I don't even mind the guff so much, because it led to probably one of the most emotionally fulfilling scenes in the entire series, which is the concert scene towards the end.
Yeah, I know about the concert scene.
It's actually surprisingly really good. I was not expecting it to be that good and that effective. If only it were to be in a better game altogether.
And if only it was under better circumstances, because...
Indeed, but yes, so one of the most effective emotional moments in the entire franchise, it's in Final Fantasy X-2!
I actually like that song too.
It's a good song. It is a good song. Yes.
It's
Color me surprised.
It's so touching, the music as well as the lyrics that they sing in it. You know, despite the fact it's translated from Japanese.
Yes, the emotion is there and the energy is there. The right mood is also there. Everything is there to make that scene memorable. I just so wish they didn't hold the concert in the Thunder Plains!
Yep, I know, the Thunder freaking Plains!
You had the Calmlands, which are literally named Calmlands! You already have stands there! It's a huge space, but no, you have to go to the Thunder Plains because you needed atmosphere!
Yeah, atmosphere and, you know, a cool shot of the clouds being parted.
Yes, in the Thunder Plains. Because of love and the power of music and whatnot. Jeez, and also Louise. Oh, brother.
Oh, the brother. Oh, God, brother. Oh, gosh, Brother got creepy in this one.
What's with them? run into something like this?
It comes!
I do love how Pain doesn't sell the appearance of any monster whatsoever.
She no-sells the monsters.
Yes, she says, oh look, it's a giant enemy crab, let's fight it. Oh look, there is a dragon creeping behind us. We should probably deal with that? No? Okay.
Eureka!
How can
the rescue!
you take any boss or any impending doom seriously when these three gals just so energetically say, hey, let's go take it on! Yay!
That's completely different to how Yuna and Riku were like, oh no, a boss! It's scary and everything! And compared to this one, it's like, oh look, a boss! Let's fight it!
Yeah! Fun times!
Girl power!
I mean...
Well, probably less girl power, more like, let's have fun!
Well, at least it's not as difficult a boss as the tutorial boss was just a few minutes ago. Mostly because I have to focus on one target as opposed to 3 targets. And
yeah,
since what the hell is wrong with his neck? What the hell is wrong with your neck? You're a crab, not a snail. Not a turtle.
Well, you know, these Final Fantasy creatures, they've got interesting designs and are weird.
This is probably the least confusingly designed enemy.
Yeah.
I have to say. Now, I just think of how confusing the enemy designs get in Final Fantasy XIII. The bosses, I should say. The falsies, or whatever they were supposed to be.
Yeah, the falsi, the ones who basically get branded.
That plot just gives me a headache to think about.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that the plot is buried in the exposition text.
Yes, that's nonsense. That's just nonsense. If you want me to lose interest in a game and its world and story, that's the way to do it. Just bury the story in text.
Oh look, the boss is down.
Oh my god, I just noticed Pain as the Gunblade. It's not actually the Gunblade, but it is shaped exactly like the Gunblade. Come on.
Yeah, similar design, essentially. And look, we got the sphere.
We'll be taking this.
I actually saw the other version of this where... I actually saw the other version of this where, you know, LeBlanc and all that screw up.
But in order to get that version, I should have made it in time before the timer ran out. Oh, and by the way, wait to give me a heart attack, game! I thought I was going to have to restart this from the last save point, but no, it turns out it doesn't matter if I don't make it in time. Also, if you want to add insult to injury, this is the only time in the entire game I'm up against a timer. I was expecting this to be a recurring element, but no, it's just for this one first mission, and then it's never brought up again. What is even the point?
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, I am done complaining about Final Fantasy X and X-2 forever. I don't have any more to say. I am so done. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I hoped I said enough myself about this game because to me it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. So it just leaves no flavor at all for me.
Yes, well, I guess I can successfully conclude this by saying the following. I started off Final Fantasy X liking it very much, and by the end of it I was just exhausted and I didn't know what to make of it. I started off Final Fantasy X-2 not knowing what to make of it, and I ended up still not knowing what to make of it. So I guess that's the only consistency I get.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, take care of yourselves, everybody.